Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. It's great to be back here with you. So today, this video is the much anticipated, much requested rainwater catchment review, and stay to the very end because we're going to go over the costs of this system. So if you plan on creating your own rainwater catchment system like we have, you kind of got to know what you're getting into. So we're going to start here at the shop. Then we're going to move over to the water power room and then over to the cabin. So there's three different sections of this rainwater catchment system. As of right now, there will be more later, but this is what we got now. This is how it works, and this is how much it costs. So stay till the very end. So first things first, the tanks. Most likely this is going to be the most expensive part of your system, and we'll go over costs later. But I've got 4 of these 2,500 gallon tanks. And I've got one 550 gallon tank over at the power water room. I'll show you here in a second. So here at the shop, it's about what it would be, about 1,600 square foot of rainwater catchment, meaning the roof. That's the 20 by 20 shop, and there's two 10 by 20 covered patio cover, deck covers, whatever you want to call them, that also act as rain catchment. I believe I figured it all out to roughly 2,000 or 2,200 square feet of rainwater surface catchment here for our system. And if I remember correctly, I believe out of every 1,000 square feet of rain catchment surface, meaning your roof, with 1 inch of rain is, I believe, 600 gallons of water. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys. I should have looked that up. I looked it up before, but I forgot the exact numbers, but give or take. So we've got 4 of these big boys and then 1 small one. So here you can see right above me is rain gutters, and we use 2-inch PVC pipe as far as our conduit to go from the rain gutters to the tanks. And up here at the downspout is a screen to help keep some of the debris out, because even though you live out and there's nothing above you, maybe you live out in the desert, dirt, bird poop, pollen. Here we get some birds dropping juniper berries in here. So you want to try to filter all along the way of your system. So we're going to move on. I'll show you the other side of the cabin or the shop here, and we'll go to the next section. All right, we are now on the east side of the cabin, and you can see this part of the roof. There's the downspout there. It goes into the 2-inch PVC all along the shop building here. These are not glued because those tanks that you saw at the beginning of this video, those actually are going to be moved down to the ground right here. We're going to add 2 more tanks, meaning 4 over here. And we're taking those 2 tanks off. And that back patio area is going to get enclosed. It's going to be a storage room. So once again, more 2-inch pipe. This is held on here in the middle just so it doesn't bow down with some unistrut. And this carries the water from the east side of the building over there to the east side tank. All right, we are here at the power water room. This building is, I believe, 100 square feet. It's a small roof. By the way, if you're going to do rainwater catchment system, it's imperative that you use metal roofs. Don't use composition or asphalt shingles because those chemicals will leach into your water. So metal roof is preferred on this application. So here we have our small 550 gallon tank. This one happens to be full right now because of the last rains we got. And then you can see here we have a first flush system. So a first flush system basically means when it starts to rain, it's going to take all that dirt, all that bird poop from your roof. It's going to go down this first tube right here. And then as it fills up, now with more clean water, now it'll dump over and go down into the tank itself. So there's a little cap on the bottom there. I also have another one here at the cabin that after or right before we want to collect our clean water, we'll let that out so it'll fill up with clean water and then go into the tank. So let's go inside the power water room And I'm sure you guys have seen it before if you've been with this channel, but let's just go over it just to make this review complete. All right, we're inside the power water room, and right now it's acting as a storage room as well, so please forgive me for the mess. So here, all the tanks are connected underground. They come up outside the shed here and go into, there's first a ball valve for maintenance. Then I have two different filters. You could buy these filters at Home Depot. We'll go over the cost here in a minute. One is a more coarse filter, and one is more for fine particulates. Before it goes into the Grundfos pump. This pressurizes the water, and then I've got three outlets. One goes to the shop, one goes to the cabin, and one is going to be for our future gardens. So this is kind of the manifold of our rainwater system. These pumps, I highly recommend. This is the Grundfos stainless steel. I believe I actually have, here it is. So this is the pump right here, the CMBE. If you can see right there. This is my second one. My first one froze and exploded. So they are not cheap, and again, we'll go over the cost later, but I've had really good experiences with these pumps. They're just a great all-around pump and very good company to buy from. So anyways, here at the power water room, we have our inlet, our two filters, and our Grundfos pump. So let's go head over to the cabin and I'll show you what's going on there. By the way, this shed is only 10 feet long, so it only takes one rain gutter outside, and you saw the 2-inch PVC pipe. Why do I use PVC instead of ABS? Well, being exposed out in the elements, PVC handles the elements much better than ABS. ABS will get brittle, it'll crack, it'll fade, and get sun damaged as well. Whereas the PVC, it's just a lot more sturdy. Both pipes are paintable, but again, PVC is a lot stronger plastic. The ABS is called a hollow core plastic. It doesn't do well out in the elements, not like PVC. All right, everybody, we're on at the cabin. We are on the north side of the cabin. Here on this property, that is slopes from the south to the north going downhill. That being the case, this side of the roof is lower than the top of my water tanks, which are on the south side. So what we had to do in order to get the rainwater from here, and as you can see, the white gutters, where is it at? Right there. And then the downspout, again, 2-inch PVC held on by unistrut clamps and unistrut. To get the water that's at lower elevation up to the tanks, we need to get this. And again, the cost will be explained at the end here. This is a sump pump. This pipe is coming from the rain gutters. So when it's raining, water comes down here into the tank. It fills up the tank, and inside is a pump, a motor, a macerator pump, and on it has a float. So when that water level goes up to a certain point, that float switch turns on and pumps the water from here. By the way, if you do this, you will need a check valve, trust me. This goes under the cabin all the way to the tanks, and let's go over there next. Okay, we're currently at the south side of the house. And that pump that I showed you over there with the macerator pump, this is the pipe that it discharges into. It goes up, over, and then down into our first flush, along with the south side roof that I'm currently standing next to. So when this pump discharges, it goes up, fills the first flush along with the south side water catchment. Once the first flush is filled, it goes up over my head and over to these tanks. You can tell it's held up by a stilt here. Actually, two of them. There's another one down there. And this has been plumbed for future tanks. We're also adding 2 more tanks to this side. Right here where I'm standing, they're going to come out right here. So that's what this T is for. Hopefully you guys can see it. The sun is blinding me. So that is for the 2 future tanks that go right here. So our goal is to have 20,550 gallons. And I think that's going to be enough for us. Right now we have 10,550. And as you know, if you've been watching, we're really close to empty. As a matter of fact, this tank is the one we're off of now. And it is not full. It is right there. So we're at about 1,600 gallons on this tank. Now, if push came to shove, there is enough water in all of these other 4 tanks to probably get another 1,000 gallons. So that's kind of our backup, our emergency. We're hoping we get more rain soon. If not, we're gonna have to think of something else. But these are all the tanks that I've showed you. I've showed you how the downspouts work. I've showed you how the first flush system works, and I showed you how the pump works. So let's go inside and see the final end of this whole chain of rainwater catchment system. All right, everybody, welcome to inside the cabin. So this is the end of the run right here. This is called a pot filler. These are very handy. These are typically installed above the stove, just so you don't have to carry a big pot of water from your sink or your water supply over to your stove. This puts water right there, so you don't have to carry it. Really helpful if you don't have the strength to carry a lot of weight like that. This is a little pig. So from our water power room, the water lines, feed the cabin, but also a leg comes here. This is what we use for our final filtration step before we drink the water. This is our Berkey. This is our Berkey. This is the Berkey Imperial. I think it's one of the biggest ones you can get. Not real sure. There's in our specific setup, we have 4 elements inside. I believe it can hold 8, but we only need 4 now, and the filters are very expensive. So what we do when we need drinking water, basically, pretty simple. You just swivel this guy over here and turn it on. So this is filling this first chamber where the filters are, and then it trickles down into the clean chamber, I guess is what you call it. The water that's able to be drunk. So when I say we're on 100% rainwater, it is what it means. So just fill it up. We have our coffee maker right here, so we fill up our coffee. But 100% rainwater, guys. Good stuff. We've been here going on 9 months now. No one's been sick, so don't worry. Don't drink just straight rainwater. You definitely want to process it, filter it down. So all this being said, let's go over how much it costs. All right, so I got my notes. Now here's the part that everybody wants to know. How much does a system like this cost? And it's not cheap. However, it's a whole lot cheaper than digging a well. I've talked to a lot of the locals. If they can find water on your property out here on this ranch, typically it's about 2,000 feet deep, which puts the cost of digging a well way, way out of reach. So that being said, I don't think there's any properties out here that I know of, that I've heard of, all the years we've had this place, nobody has wells out here. So you either got to do rainwater catchment like what we have, or you drive your truck with a tank into town and fill up at the local well, I guess, down in town. Or you can have it delivered, which costs quite a bit more. So we went the route of rainwater catchment, and this is the big cost reveal. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, the biggest major cost you'll have, and it varies. If you buy just one small tank, it's not going to cost that much. But if you have tanks like this portion of this video with the costs are costs that we incurred. You may have a smaller system, you may have a bigger system, you may have much larger tanks, you might just have an IBC tote. So the costs are going to be wildly and vastly different depending on the system you have. So this is just our system. So our 5 water tanks equaling 10,550 gallons. Back when I purchased them, it was about $1 a gallon. I know the big tanks have gone up to about $3,000 now. We bought ours at about $2,000, $2,200. So just in tanks, we have about $12,000 just to hold the water that we catch. All the PVC pipe that you've seen and all the PVC pipe that you haven't seen, along with the copper that's underground that go from the tanks all the way underground to the power water room, is about $800. The filters that you saw in the water power room and the Berkeys are not cheap there. I believe that one was, it's been a while since I had that. Probably $300 or $400 just for the Berkey, and then you got to buy the elements inside that are, I think, $150 for two. They could have gone up by now. I just bought a bunch of them and I store them because prices only go up. So all the filter systems, about $750 total. That includes the Berkey. All the rain gutters on all three buildings, that's probably one of the cheapest things. They're about $10 or $15 for a 10-foot stick at Home Depot. So all our rain gutters, about 150 bucks, including the downspouts. Now the Grundfos pump, like I mentioned before, is pretty expensive. The first one I bought that exploded was about $2,000. The next one I bought, the one that you saw, is about $2,300. Remember, everything always goes up in price. So Grundfos pump, about $2,300. Now the 4 boxes that, or there's two, well there's 3 now. There's 2 boxes with gravel that these 2 tanks are sitting on, and there's 1 box with gravel that the small tank is sitting on. This price includes what we're doing here in a couple months, is we're going to build another 4-way box with gravel. The gravel comes in big white, I think they're 1 cubic yard. So to get those off of your truck or trailer, you need a tractor. You need, and this is part of the cost that we incurred before, so I'm adding it in here, the mini excavator to level out the ground and to carry the gravel bags. With the gravel, with the lumber, with the hardware is about $2,500. And then last but not least, the sump pump that I showed you guys under the north side of the house, with the check valve and the pump and the can, is about $600. So in total, guys, grand total of Vaughn's rainwater off-grid catchment system is $19,100 approximately. Now it's been many years since I started this rainwater system, this project here. So prices definitely have gone up in everything, as you all know. So we're just under 20 grand for our rainwater system. I anticipate if we were to try to dig a 2,000-foot well, if we even found water, would be closer to $60,000 to $80,000, and that's just not a cost that we can incur. So 20 grand, 19,000. That's about how much we're into this, and it's taken us a long time to get to this scale, and we're still not done yet, folks. We're gonna add almost twice as many tanks, which, if you remember, is one of the most expensive parts of this, especially nowadays, now that prices have skyrocketed. So that's about it. If you guys have questions regarding rainwater collection, the filtering process that we've done, like I said, we've been drinking this water for over almost 9 months now. No one's gotten sick. The water's pure and clean. There's no weird funky taste, and it's just good pure water. I actually prefer it over bottled water, to be honest with you. So that's it. If you have questions, like I said, regarding rainwater, regarding solar, or just living off grid in general, put it down in the comments box. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if the off-grid homestead lifestyle is something that interests you, something that you're curious about. We've been here full-time over 8 months now. We've had this property about 7 years total, and my wife and I and our little boy William, we all live out here. We love it, and we're really enjoying this lifestyle, this way of life. And it really is, I believe, the way of life humans are supposed to live. Less reliant on pre-built systems and more self-reliant. I think it's a lifestyle that people have lost over the last 100 years, and there is a large movement. A lot of people are doing this, moving off grid. Even here, way out here in Arizona, northern Arizona, where we're at, we have a lot of neighbors and a lot of people that live in the surrounding area that have YouTube channels just like this, and we're all talking about the same thing. So there you go. I'll cut the video here. Once again, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. We have cracked that 1,000 subscriber mark. Now we just need to get, I believe it's 4,000 hours of viewed time within 1 year. So we're working on that. in order to build this channel to something even better. Check out the description box of this channel. If you are so inclined, you don't have to. There is no fee. We don't monetize. We're not monetized in the sense where you have to pay to get on this channel. You'll always be able to see all the videos. But if you do want to help us out in any way, shape, or form, we do have a Amazon wish list. Check it out in the description section of this channel and take a look. Once again, hope to hear from you guys. We read all the comments and we typically respond to every single one. So hope to hear from you. Until then, prep and thrive. We'll see you on the next video.